let's update from 26.1.2 to 26.2. If you want to go deeper, the 26.x modding courses are linked down below. 30 plus hours covering complex block entities with fluid and energy handling, custom mobs, custom networking, and even custom biomes and dimensions. Everything you need for 26.x, all in one place, linked down below in the description. Alright, we found back in Taylor once more, and in this tutorial, we're going to be updating our project over here to 26.2 indeed. And as you can see by the length of the video, it's a very straightforward process. Luckily, we're kind of lucky in that there's not that many changes for us at least. However, sort of disclaimer, I will link the NeoForge primer over here. I know that this is a fabric tutorial, but the NeoForge primer is more or less not specific for any loader. And at this point, you can basically go through this and it's almost going to be one-to-one. And one of the big changes here is obviously the rendering changes. Too many rendering changes. Basically, the Vulkan graphics API is now available in the options. So you have the OpenGL as well as the Vulkan ones. They're being used in parallel. So while this is not really a concern for us at the moment, as soon as they obviously turn off OpenGL, we may or may not have to interface a little bit differently when it comes to rendering. For the time being, the rendering isn't affected that much, and I also do recommend updating to 26.2 as it is very much not disruptive at all. There are 2 or 3 very small changes, and then you're good to go. So we're going to, of course, update over here to the newest version, that is 0.152.1 plus 26.2. Then our mod version is 26.2, Minecraft version 26.2. The loader stays 19.3, 1.17 snapshot, and we also want to go to the Gradle properties over here to update that to 9.5.1 as well. And those are the changes that we need to do. Then we hit the sync Gradle changes or go to Gradle and sync all Gradle projects button. And here we're just going to wait until this is run through. And once that is done, then we're good to go. There we go. Build successful in 1 minute and 2 seconds. Of course, it can take a little bit longer or shorter for you, depending on all sorts of factors. But generally speaking, there we go. Now, the biggest change for us specifically is in the tags over here, where the value lookup builder no longer exists. And we now have to use the tag method. Now here, it's very straightforward. We simply select the value lookup builder, press Ctrl R and change it to tag up here. So we just do that, replace all, and that is going to change it to the tag method. Now we will see that all of the blocks, as well as if we go to the item provider, the same thing happens, right? We just select it, Ctrl R, change all of them to tag, and then the same thing happens for the items. This is because the items now also have item IDs, as well as block item IDs and block IDs. What does that do? Why is that a thing? I mean, they're probably doing it so to gear up so that blocks and items can be more easily generated via JSON files. What we're going to do is we're going to press Shift twice over here and look at the block IDs, for example, or let's do the item IDs actually. Item IDs, there we go. And that's going to be this class right here. As you can see, these are just resource keys of items for each one of the different items that exist, right? So these are creating them. And generally speaking, they're just resource keys, so nothing too crazy. And the suggestion is to also make, mod item IDs, mod block item IDs, and then mod block IDs. I think the way easier way to do this is as follows. Inside of the mod items class over here, we're going to make a public static resource key of type item. We're going to call this here the getRK. Then we're going to make an item parameter over here, and we will simply return built-in registries. There we go. .item, .get resource key, passing in the item, and then .get. And that should always work, even though this is an optional. The .get over here should never return a null because we're only ever passing in items that already exist. So this should just work. Same thing is going to happen in the blocks over here, where we will add a public static, and this is going to be a resource key of type block in this case. And this is once again getRK, with a block this time as a parameter, very straightforward. And then that's going to be returning built-in registries.block.get resource key, passing in the block right here, and then .get. Easy enough. All of this is, of course, also linked in the description below. And having these two helper methods, that's all we need to do. So we can now go back to the mod block tags over here, and we're going to call modblocks.getRK. And then as you can see, that is going to solve this issue. So I'm going to select this over here. I'm going to hold Alt and just go down, Control V to paste it in, and then I just need to change the ending over here to also have another closing parentheses, and that's pretty much all that we need to do over here. And we need to do this for all the different blocks. So we're just going to go through those, and when we get to if we get to vanilla blocks that you want, blocks and or items that we wanted to add to tags, we'll have to do one more thing, but that's not going to be too bad. We're just going to add the closing parentheses for all of them, and then all the errors go away. Like I said, all of this is also available to you down below, so nothing to worry about. There we go. That's going to be the block tags done, and then in the item tags, the first one here, the same thing. This time we're just using the mod items.getRK, easy enough. And then for items, well, that is where we're going to use item IDs class now to refer to them. So instead of using the items class, we have to use the item IDs class. Nothing too crazy over here, so that should be fine. And then using getRK once again for all of our items over here in order to get the proper resource keys. And then once again, ending it with another closing parentheses, of course. Boop, 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 and a boop. And there we have it. And that is it. That is actually all of the changes that we need to do. I definitely recommend updating because it is not disruptive at all. If you have major sort of rendering, then it might also be useful to update just to try out Vulkan already. But that's really only if you're like super deep into the rendering of things. Generally speaking, I don't think it's going to be that disruptive as of right now. With that being said, that should be everything. So let's just run it and we should actually have everything we need to do. Oops, we will actually get an incompatible mod. That is because in the fabric mod JSON right here, we're only targeting 26.1.2. So that should, of course, be changed to 26.2. That's an important one. You can also do something like, you know, this has to be bigger than this, or, I mean, this is going to be fine though. 26.2, and when we change this, then all of a sudden it's gonna work. And there we go, we are back in Minecraft, this time 26.2, and everything is still working as intended. So there we go. I would say that's pretty good, and that's gonna be what we're gonna continue with, 26.2. Awesome. And that's gonna be it for this tutorial right here. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to all of the members. Don't forget you can get 14 days of early access when you join as a Stonebricks member on YouTube, and that's gonna include this video right here. We'll add crop blocks to Minecraft. Hope to see you there. So, yeah.